Most people believe anime heroes succeed because they're highly motivated. But what if that's a lie? If you think motivation is the key to success, anime proves you're already failing. Think about it. Have you ever felt fired up to chase a goal, only to burn out the moment that motivation fades? That's because motivation is a trap. It's unreliable. It fades. And worst of all, it lies to you. But here's the truth that anime reveals, one that most people never realize. Today, we're breaking down why motivation fails, what Saitama, Ayanokoji, and Thorfinn teach us, and the real secret to lasting success. Let's dive in. Motivation feels powerful in the moment, but it's one of the biggest lies we've been told about success. It makes you feel unstoppable at first, but then it fades, and when it does, most people quit. This isn't just theory. Studies show that most people abandon their goals as soon as motivation dips. 80% of New Year's resolutions fail by February. Why? Because they rely on motivation instead of structure. And it's not just everyday people who fall into this trap. Even entrepreneurs with million-dollar ideas fail because they build their businesses on passion alone. Think about the countless startups that launch with excitement but collapse within a year. Not because the idea was bad, but because the founders relied on motivation instead of a sustainable system. And anime shows this problem perfectly. Take Deku from My Hero Academia. His dream of becoming a hero was fueled by pure passion. But where did that get him? At first, nowhere. He was weak, he had no control over One for All, and every time he pushed too hard, he literally broke his own body. Motivation alone made him reckless and self-destructive. It wasn't until he followed a structured training plan with All Might's guidance that he actually became strong. Then there's Eren Yeager in Attack on Titan. If anyone was driven by pure motivation, it was him. His rage and determination to wipe out the Titans pushed him forward. But here's the problem. That same motivation made him reckless. He made impulsive decisions, put himself and others in danger, and let his obsession blind him to the bigger picture. He thought motivation alone would give him victory, but in the end, it made him a pawn in someone else's plan. The hard truth is, motivation isn't enough. In fact, it can actually make your life harder, because when it fades, so does your progress. So if motivation isn't the key to success, what is? Anime gives us a surprising alternative. If motivation isn't the answer, then what is? The real key to success isn't how inspired you feel. It's the system you build to keep going even when you don't feel inspired at all. This is what separates the people who achieve greatness from the ones who burn out. Athletes, CEOs, and top creators don't rely on bursts of motivation. They follow structured systems that force them to make progress no matter how they feel. Take Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest basketball players of all time. While others relied on talent or inspiration, Kobe followed an almost inhuman training routine. He would wake up at 4 a.m., train for hours before practice, then train again after his team had gone home. He didn't wait to feel motivated. He built a system that made success inevitable. And this is exactly what James Clear explains in Atomic Habits. Success doesn't come from big moments of inspiration. It comes from small, consistent actions repeated over time. Talent and motivation might give you a head start, but habits and systems are what actually win the race. Anime captures this perfectly. Look at Saitama from One Punch Man. He didn't become the strongest hero through passion or talent. He followed the same boring routine every single day. 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and a 10-kilometer run. It wasn't exciting, it wasn't dramatic, but it worked, because it was consistent. And then there's Ayanokoji from Classroom of the Elite. He doesn't let emotions guide his decisions. He operates on pure strategy. Every move he makes is calculated, controlled, and part of a bigger system. While others react to their emotions, Ayanokoji is always in control, because he never relies on fleeting feelings to determine his actions. This is the truth most people ignore. Motivation comes and goes, but a system forces you to make progress even on your worst days. And when you combine a system with one more key ingredient, you become unstoppable. But what is that missing piece? Let's talk about it next. Even with the best system in place, there's still one more factor that separates those who succeed from those who fail: resilience. Because the truth is, no matter how disciplined or strategic you are, life will hit you with setbacks. You will fail. You will struggle. And when that happens, the people who win aren't the ones with the most motivation or even the best systems. They're the ones who refuse to give up. Angela Duckworth's research on grit proves this. She found that the strongest predictor of success isn't talent or intelligence, it's perseverance, the ability to keep going, even when everything is against you. Look at Thomas Edison, a man who failed over 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. When asked how he felt about failing so much, he didn't see it as failure at all. He said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That mindset, the ability to endure, is what made him legendary. And anime captures this kind of resilience in some of its most powerful characters. Thorfinn from Vinland Saga lost everything: his father, his home, even his purpose for living. At first, his life was driven by rage and revenge, but when that was stripped away, he was left with nothing. And that's when he found his true strength, not in battle, not in motivation, but in his ability to keep moving forward, no matter how painful the journey became. Then there's Guts from Berserk, one of the greatest examples of resilience in anime history. From childhood, he suffered relentless pain and betrayal. He was beaten, abandoned, and forced to fight just to survive. But no matter what he endured, he never stopped pushing forward. He wasn't the strongest because of talent, he was the strongest because nothing could break him. And it's not just these well-known characters. Even lesser-known figures like Joe from Megalobox embody this trait. He wasn't the most gifted boxer, and he didn't have the best resources, but what he did have was an unyielding spirit, the will to fight, even when the odds were impossible. This is the real secret to success. Motivation fades, systems help. But in the end, resilience is what determines who keeps going and who quits. So if motivation isn't the answer, what's the final takeaway? Let's wrap it up. Motivation is temporary. It comes and goes like a passing storm. But systems and resilience, those are what create real success. The people who achieve greatness aren't the ones who feel inspired every day. They're the ones who show up even when they don't want to. They build habits, they push through setbacks, and they refuse to quit. And if you think resilience alone is enough, think again. Just look at Naruto. He fought for change. He became Hokage. But did he really change Konoha? Or is everything just the same as before? You can check my video to find out. Power alone doesn't guarantee transformation. Because in the end, success isn't about how motivated you feel. It's about what you do when you don't feel like it.